I worked 2 jobs, and one day I came home early. That's when I heard her talking to our neighbor saying, "He's pathetic. Thinks staying late at work makes him some kind of man. I'm just glad I don't have to fake being into him anymore." The neighbor laughed and said, "Girl, you could do so much better." She smirked and said, "Trust me, I already am." I didn't say a word. I just stood there, my heart pounding, then quietly set down the anniversary dinner I had brought and left. Since yesterday, she's been calling nonstop. I never thought I'd be the guy venting about my wrecked marriage on Reddit at 2:37 a.m. in some rundown motel room. But here I am, trying to make sense of what just happened. 7 years of marriage wiped out in under a minute. For context, I've been grinding nonstop for 4 months. Factory job during the day, warehouse gig at night, 5 hours of sleep, rinse and repeat. Why? Because we were saving up for a down payment on a house, and Valentina was chasing this dream of hers with a small business that still hasn't made a dime. I believed in her. I believed in us. Today was our 7th anniversary. I managed to trade shifts so I could get home by 5 instead of midnight. Wanted to surprise her. Picked up her favorite steak from this high-end spot. Cost me $300, but I didn't care. Anniversary, right? Got her wine, lava cakes, even flowers from a real florist, not the cheap grocery kind. I was putting in real effort. When I pulled into our complex around 4:45, I noticed Kyler's car in the guest space. Didn't think much. He lives across the hall and sometimes helps Val move heavy stuff when I'm gone. Chill guy. We've had a few beers. So I head up the stairs, arms full of food and flowers, and I hear voices through the cracked door. Val's voice, crystal clear. She says, "He's pathetic. Thinks long hours make him a man. I'm just glad I don't have to pretend anymore." I froze, couldn't move. Then Kyler laughs and says, "You could do better." And then she says it. "Trust me, I already am." That one sentence keeps playing in my head. The tone she used, like she was proud. I stood there for what felt like forever. Part of me wanted to burst in and scream. Another part wanted to cry right there. Instead, I slowly opened the door, set the dinner on the counter, placed the flowers next to it, and walked back out. They didn't even notice me. They were on the couch, not doing anything but sitting way too close. Her hand on his arm. She looked at him like she used to look at me. The thing about rage, it doesn't always explode. Sometimes it goes quiet. I didn't yell, didn't slam anything, just shut the door gently and left. I drove around for 3 hours while my phone blew up. I'm guessing she found the food and realized I'd been there. By 8 p.m., I had 47 missed calls. I finally just turned my phone off. 7 years I gave this woman everything. My brother warned me. Said she was high maintenance. I didn't listen. I've been living on 4 hours of sleep to make this life work, and she's been laughing behind my back with the dude next door. After hours of just driving nowhere, I ended up in this crappy motel, typing this out. I'm 28 years old, sitting on a bed that probably charges by the hour. Room cost me $34, and I'm counting every dollar now. I've got no idea what's next. Around midnight, I turned my phone back on. Another 26 missed calls. 8 voicemails I haven't had the guts to hear. 3 texts from my brother asking if we're still playing basketball this weekend. How is life still normal for everyone else when mine just exploded? My best friend, Quinn, texted me too. Said Valentina called him in a panic, asking if he'd seen me. I just texted back, "At a motel. Marriage over. I'll explain tomorrow." He responded, "Holy shit, dude," and offered his couch. I might take him up on that. I can't stay in this dump forever. I keep replaying the moment she said, "Trust me, I already am." Like screwing me over was something to brag about. I can't believe someone I trusted for 7 years could look me in the face and be so cold. And the worst part? All our money is tied up in joint accounts. Everything I worked for. Every single dollar. Tomorrow I have to figure out how to untangle that before she drains it. Should I call in sick? I've never missed a shift, not once. But how am I supposed to operate heavy machinery when I feel like I'm falling apart? I found her credit card receipt from a lingerie store, $300. I thought it was for our anniversary. But now, I bet it wasn't for me. Probably for Kyler. Looking back, there were red flags. The business meetings that ran late, the new clothes, her always texting with her phone face down when I walked in, the classic stuff. I didn't see it because I was too damn exhausted trying to build us a life. It's 3 a.m. I'm supposed to be at work in 4 hours. Like nothing happened. Like my life didn't just burn to the ground. I keep switching between wanting to yell in her face and never speaking to her again, between wanting to forgive everything and wanting to ruin her. I gave everything to someone who thinks I'm pathetic. So now I'm going to show her what a man with nothing left to lose can really do. Tomorrow I start with the accounts. Then I call a lawyer. Then I find out how long Kyler's been in the picture. I don't know what happens after that. But she's going to find out that those extra hours didn't just make me tired. They made me resilient. And they taught me I can survive more than she ever imagined. Update coming after I figure out what the hell to do next. If you've been through anything like this, please drop advice. I could use it. Update 1. First off, massive thanks to everyone who responded to my original post. Your advice probably saved me from some major screw-ups in those first few days. For those just joining, quick summary. 2 weeks ago, I got home early with an anniversary dinner and overheard my wife, Valentina, tell our neighbor Kyler I was pathetic and that she was glad she didn't have to fake being attracted to me anymore. Then she admitted she was already cheating. I left the food, checked into a motel. End of chapter 1. And then I went dark. No messages, no calls. 16 straight days of radio silence. 16 days of sleeping on Quinn's lumpy couch. 16 days of Valentina spiraling out, trying everything to track me down. I won't lie. Watching someone who thought they had all the control suddenly realize they don't? There's something cold but deeply satisfying about that. First thing I did after posting was call in sick to both jobs, for the first time ever. Then I hit the bank the second they opened. Moved $14,000, half our joint savings, into a brand new account at a different bank. Left just enough to cover rent and bills. I'm not a monster. I don't want the lights shut off or eviction notices just because she cheated. The woman at the bank looked concerned. I probably looked like hell, running on no sleep, face still numb from what happened. But here's the thing, separating finances when you've been tied together for years? It's brutal, like yanking out a deep splinter. Hurts like hell, but you have to do it. I switched direct deposits, froze our joint card, got new passwords, removed her from everything she had access to. It took 3 hours, but it felt like cutting out a tumor. By noon, I had 64 missed calls. I didn't listen to a single one. Just texted her, "I heard everything. Don't contact me again." Then muted her number. Cold? Maybe. But nowhere near as cold as what she did. The next day, I met with a divorce attorney. Cost me $400 for the consultation, but worth every penny. He broke it all down. What I should document, what alimony looks like, and what adultery means in our state. Turns out, if I play this smart, it could save me a fortune. He told me to stick to written communication, text or email only. No calls. Leave a paper trail. That night, Valentina started her meltdown tour. Called my brother, my parents even. Old friends trying to spin a version where I'd just disappeared after some misunderstanding. My brother told her I was safe. My mom, she flat out told her she was never good enough for me. Dad just hung up. Honestly, they were never big fans of her. Turns out their instincts were spot on. Day 5, she showed up at my work. I was on break when the front desk called, saying my wife was crying in the lobby. I told them it was a personal issue and I couldn't see her. Security had to walk her out. I watched it happen from behind the break room blinds. Didn't feel proud, didn't feel angry, just nothing. Quinn, man, he's been my rock through all this. One-bedroom place, uncomfortable couch, but he hasn't complained once. He even helped me gather evidence, screenshots, voicemails, photos. I still haven't listened to the voicemails. Can't. Some nights when I can't sleep, we just zone out on this dumb racing game on his console. It helps, keeps me grounded. Week 2, I decided to stop being passive, started quietly telling our mutual friends the truth. Nothing dramatic, just facts when they asked. She said I was pathetic. She's been cheating. I'm taking some space. That's all it took. Within days, invites stopped rolling in for her. Her Instagram dried up. Her business partner, my old college friend Ruth, suddenly reevaluated their collaboration. I never asked anyone to choose sides, but they did anyway. People make their own decisions, and apparently they don't think cheating on a guy working 2 jobs to fund your startup is a good look. Day 10, I did something petty. Not proud of it, but I don't regret it either. I walked into the store where Kyler works, found him alone, no customers around, told him I knew, that I'd lawyered up, that I had evidence. He turned pale, started stumbling over his words, saying it wasn't what it looked like. I just smiled and walked away. A friend of Quinn's who works with Valentina said her phone started blowing up minutes later. Kyler panicking. Guess reality hit. Word is he's reconsidering their relationship now that drama and legal exposure are on the table. What a shocker. The guy sleeping with someone else's wife isn't exactly boyfriend material. Who knew? Day 13, I went back to our apartment. While Valentina was at yoga, installed small cameras in shared spaces, legal since I'm still on the lease. Didn't touch the bedroom or bathroom. Not a creep. Just wanted proof of who's coming and going or if she tries to trash the place. It was a mess. Takeout boxes. Everywhere. Dirty laundry. The flowers I left, wilted and dry, like someone just let them rot. That's kind of poetic. I found paperwork, too. Turns out her booming business is $32,000 in debt. She's been lying to me for months while I was killing myself to keep us afloat. Took photos, sent them to my lawyer. Ammo. Yesterday, day 15, I finally picked up one of her calls. Her voice was shot, crying, rambling. Said she'd do anything to fix this. Said Kyler meant nothing. I listened for exactly 4 minutes and 14 seconds. Then I said, "Want to meet for dinner tomorrow and talk?" She agreed instantly. Almost like she thought she'd won. She doesn't know the dinner doesn't exist. What's really happening? She's walking into a room with my parents, her parents, and a few close friends. I've prepared a little presentation, screenshots, financial records, even clips from the cameras. Quinn says it's too much. Timothy thinks I'm going too easy on her. But me? I think it's the right amount. Of truth delivered in front of the right people. She humiliated me behind my back. Now she can face reality, face to face. My grandfather once told me, the worst pain in life isn't heartbreak. It's realizing the person you gave your heart to was a stranger all along. 16 days. Back then, I thought I knew the woman I married. But tomorrow, she's going to find out just how much I've changed. I spent days setting up that night, down to the playlist humming quietly in the background. Everything was scheduled. Her parents at 6:15, mine at 6:20, a few of our closest friends spaced out between 6:25 and 6:30. She was supposed to show up at 7, thinking we were having a private heart-to-heart. Quinn helped me prep a slideshow for the TV. I printed everything, bank statements, credit card records, screenshots. I was ready. But at 5:45, before anyone else even arrived, my phone buzzed. A text from her. I'm heading over now. Can't wait any longer. Fucking miss you. I was still brushing my teeth. I texted everyone to hurry, but I already knew. She'd be there early and I'd be alone with her longer than planned. She unlocked the door with her key and walked in while I was still drying my hands. She wore that blue dress I got her for her last birthday, holding a bottle of wine, eyes red from crying. For a second, I hesitated. 7 years doesn't just vanish. Then she opened her mouth. I brought wine, she said, because I figured you probably didn't have anything decent left here. Even mid-apology, she was still taking shots at me, and that was all it took to snap me out of it. What followed was surreal. She cried, apologized, said Kyler didn't mean anything, that it only happened twice, that she felt neglected. I said nothing. Just sat there, letting her unravel. Every time she reached out to touch me, I subtly moved away. At 6:17, the doorbell rang, her parents. The confusion in her eyes morphed quickly into panic. Roberta was calm as always. Rhonda, well, she never liked me. Thought Valentina could do better. She was about to be proven wrong. By 6:32, our small living room was packed. Everyone sat stiff like they were attending a memorial. And honestly, they were. I stood up, thanked them all for coming, and said, Valentina and I were working through some issues, and I thought it best we did it with support. She was frozen in place, eyes sharp. Then I started the slideshow. First slide, proof of my deposits from 2 jobs over the last few months. Second, charges on her hidden credit card, hotel stays during late work nights. Third, months of text messages between her and Kyler. Fourth, a video clip from a camera I'd placed. Kyler walking into our apartment on a random Tuesday afternoon while I was at work. The room went silent. You could hear every breath. Rhonda made this strange little choking noise. Then came the 10-second audio I'd saved, her voice clear as day, mocking me, saying I was pathetic, and that she didn't have to fake being into me anymore because she already had someone else. Valentina tried spinning it, said it was out of context, manipulated, fake. But her dad? He just stood up and left. No words, just gone. Her mom followed a moment later, but not before telling her, I didn't raise you for this. My parents didn't say anything either, just sat together, stone-faced. My mom clutched my dad's hand like it was all she had left. And then came the real blow. I told the room that her business, the one I'd been killing myself to support, was $32,000 in the hole. She'd been lying about everything, even to Ruth, her partner and bridesmaid from our wedding. Ruth looked blindsided. Quinn stepped in quietly to confirm all the evidence. Nothing was fake, nothing exaggerated. That was the breaking point. Valentina broke down, ugly sobbing. She confessed to everything. The affair had been happening for 5 months. She'd been planning to leave me. The business was crashing. She was too ashamed to come clean. Everyone slowly filed out. Friends mumbled goodbyes. My parents hugged me and left. And then it was just me, her, and Quinn. She asked for another chance. Begged to try therapy. Said she'd cut off Kyler for good. I handed her the divorce papers. Told her she had 2 days to find another place. The next couple of weeks were a blur. Just signatures, emails, splitting bills, and ending a life we'd built. Since the lease had 2 months left, I let her move. Back with her parents while I stayed. Filed for divorce, had evidence. Because she'd lied about debt and cheated, my lawyer got me solid terms. No alimony. We each keep our debt. I kept my savings. The judge even told me I handled things better than most would have. I helped her pack on a rainy Sunday. Her mom watched the whole time, like a referee. 7 years, packed into cardboard boxes and trash bags. What came after was a strange mix of better and worse than I thought it would be. Better, because the people around me showed up. Rebecca, my sister-in-law, made sure I had real food twice a week. Quinn brought me to the gym. His friend helped me burn the anger into muscle. My boss gave me some space when I wasn't performing 100%. Worse, because grief is never a straight path. Some mornings I'd wake up determined. Others, I'd find one of her old scrunchies in a drawer and just sit there staring at nothing. The nights were brutal, lying awake, scrolling Reddit at 3 a.m., trying to make sense of it all, wondering if anything I believed for 7 years was ever real. Valentina's social media image didn't survive long. Without my income, she moved in with her parents. Her business folded 8 weeks later. Kyler blocked her. Friends say she showed up at his place more than once, drunk, crying, begging him to be with her. He wanted none of it. No surprises there. Guys like that never want the fallout. 3 months after the divorce was finalized, I got promoted. Finally dropped the second job. My sleep is still wrecked, but I'm doing better. I deleted all the dating apps I downloaded right after she moved out. I'm not ready. Some wounds don't heal with a match or a swipe. 5 months in, I bumped into her at the grocery store. She looked rough. I probably did too. We avoided each other until we ended up in the same line. She asked how I was. I said fine. She said she was in therapy. I said, good. And that was it. Just awkward silence. Last week, 6 months after everything imploded, I finally left that haunted apartment. Got a smaller place, closer to work. Timothy and Quinn helped me move. We sat on the balcony afterward with a couple beers. For the first time in a long time, I felt still. So what's the takeaway? That the people you trust most can wreck you the deepest? That revenge is satisfying, but healing quietly is better? That working yourself to death for someone else's dream is just slow destruction in disguise? Maybe it's all of that. Or maybe it's just that life keeps moving. Rents still due. The sun still rises. I'm not the same man I was 6 months ago. I'm more guarded. But I know what I'm worth. I know what I'll never allow again. And I know one thing for damn sure. I'm done bleeding myself dry just to be enough for someone who was never worth it. She ended up moving back in with her parents, 32 years old and starting over from her childhood bedroom. Her business? Gone. Collapsed 8 weeks after we split. Mutual friends told me Kyler blocked her number. Apparently, she kept showing up drunk at his place, begging him to make it real. Classic Kyler, fine with sneaking around and blowing up someone else's marriage, but not built to deal with the actual fallout. 3 months after the divorce was final, I got promoted at my main job. It meant I could finally quit the second one. My sleep's still all over the place, but I'm trying to reset. I deleted all the dating apps I downloaded in a moment of panic right after she left. I'm not ready. Not even close. Some wounds need more than just a swipe and a first date to fix. At 5 months, I ran into her. Grocery store. It was one of those silent, avoid eye contact moments where you both pretend not to notice until you awkwardly end up in the same checkout line. She looked awful. I probably didn't look much better. She asked how I was. I said, fine. She said she was seeing a therapist. I told her, good for you. Then we both stared straight ahead in silence until it was my turn to pay. Closure? Maybe. Or just a reminder of everything that went wrong. Last week, 6 months since everything crashed, I moved out of that apartment. Too many memories. Too many ghosts. I found a smaller place closer to work. Quinn and Timothy helped me move. After we finished unloading, we sat out on the balcony with a couple beers. And for the first time in a long time, I actually felt calm. Like I could finally breathe. So what's the lesson in all of this? Maybe it's that the person you trust the most is the one most capable of breaking you. Maybe it's that revenge feels good, but healing in silence feels better. Maybe it's just the brutal truth that working yourself to death for someone else's dream doesn't make you a partner. it makes you a pawn. Or maybe it's simpler. Maybe life just keeps going. No matter what breaks, no matter who betrays. The rent still needs paying. The clock doesn't stop. The sun rises whether you're whole or in pieces. I'm not the guy I was 6 months ago. I'm more cautious, a little more jaded. But I finally see my own value. I know where my limits are, and I know I'll never again hand my soul to someone just hoping they'll appreciate it. Appreciate everyone who stuck with me through this. Your comments, advice, even the tough love. I needed all of it. It kept me standing during some of the darkest days of my life.